Well, good day, Lionhearts. It's your old pal, Jordan the Lion. How are you all doing today? As you can tell behind me, I am not ready for the holidays to be over yet, and today's vlog is a special one. We're doing a special Patreon sunglass vlog for Christy Holly, and we are going to see, well, actually we're in Atlanta. We're going to the Center for Puppetry Arts, and we're gonna see the famous Rankin and Bass Rudolph and Santa puppets today. I'm so excited. It's one of my favorite things at Christmas, so hope you guys enjoy this. Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now. All right, we have arrived, and this is what I am excited to see. Christmas Town. Yes, those of us that were from the island of Misfit Toys will know what that is. We're at the Center for Puppetry Arts, or Center of Puppetry Arts here in Atlanta. We're actually gonna see the original 1964 puppets from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. They have a fantastic story about where they've been all these years. To me, not only is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer a total staple and classic for Christmas, the inventiveness of the time in which they created it, the stop motion, and how cool it still looks to this day, and the fact that there's a company out there that recreated all these puppets and was able to make it modern day while keeping everything the same, it just shows how iconic this was. And like I said, they have a crazy story about where these puppets have been and what they've been going through for the last 30, 40, 50 years. If you didn't see the first time I was here, this place is phenomenal because they also have a giant Jim Henson exhibit. They have a lot of the original Sesame Street stuff, and yeah, it's just one of the coolest places you can find anywhere in the world for an adventure. Here we are. This is the main exhibit area where you'll see all the Jim Henson stuff in here. But look at this, they have an old Rudolph Montgomery Ward mechanical riding toy. Kind of cool to see. And we're actually gonna go over here and see the Santa exhibit. I'm so excited to see this. I still to this day think it's one of the coolest, most creative things ever to watch. Well, they definitely have created the magic in here. And to be honest, I love the movie, but one thing about the movie is it's almost kind of wouldn't be made today because the movie's kind of like bullying. But look at that. There he is, the original Santa and Rudolph. Now, the story about these is that Rankin and Bass made this in 1964, and when they were finished, people just they weren't collecting things the way that they do now. So they ended up just giving all, I believe, 87 puppets that they made to the secretary, and she took them home and used them as her own personal Christmas decorations for years, and then put them up in her attic and really didn't do much with them. Then her nephew got a hold of them and found them up in the attic in a box, and when he pulled all the puppets out, most of them were all melted and destroyed except for these two. Now, they look pretty dang good right now, but that wasn't always the case because they had suffered damage as well when he found them. And I remember he took them on Antiques Roadshow before they restored them. And he was showing him and was telling the story of how all of them had melted, and he was pretty sure were the Rankin and Bass because his aunt worked there. And so eventually he sold them, and the man who got them next ended up paying a really good company to restore them. And they did a fantastic job. Look at them. Originally, Santa was missing one of his sides of his mustache. There's Rudolph. Right here you can see a photo of what they look like as they were restoring them. They had to really basically take them completely apart and found out they were basically made out of carved wood and fabric. So Rudolph had a light in his nose that had been replaced with Play-Doh. So they put an LED in it when they restored it so that the heat wouldn't ruin it for the future. and that it had a little hole in the side of Rudolph that they would attach a wire bracket to make him fly. So they made sure those were still in there. And that's what he looks like to this day. Now I believe once the second owner had these restored, he ended up auctioning them for $100,000. And then the next person that owned them held on to them for quite a while because he said it reminded him of his childhood and he had to have them. And he owned them for quite a while, and then he decided to put them up for auction, and they ended up going for, I believe, $280,000. But then with the premium for the auction, it went to $360,000 was the final bid. And it was an anonymous bidder, or an anonymous buyer, and he donated them to this museum. So they're part of the permanent collection. How cool is that? How often does that ever happen? And for all the characters to not survive, except for Santa and Rudolph, what are the odds? No Sam the Snowman, or Hermie, or Hermie the Dentist. Yukon Cornelius. He was one of my favorites. Oh, this is so cool to see, and to know that they're in good health living on. Then, like I said, there's a company out there that redid all these and made like a modern day version of the movie using even more special effects, but it looks exactly like the original movie. There's that replaced LED nose. And the I believe they're covering up the hole right there with the holder that they would have had. That's where they would have put that wire harness thing into Rudolph to move him. I don't imagine I'll ever get my chance to own them, but it's so cool to get to come here in the holiday time and see these, because they're showing them at least this year from Thanksgiving until right after New Year's. And hopefully they'll do that every year. And also the Center for Puppetry Arts was doing 3 live puppet shows a day of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like a live action one with the puppets, people actually working the puppets. But they had to cancel them for the last part of December because of the rise in COVID. So I was gonna see that today and it got canceled. I found out when I got here. If you want to find out more about this, there are plenty of videos about the restoration and the Antiques Roadshow of the original cellar and all that stuff you can find. All right, we're gonna exit the North Pole and say goodbye to Santa and Rudolph, at least for this year. Let me show you some stuff inside the museum that I haven't shown you before. Now look at how cool that is. That's a transformation mask puppet, so you can close those 2 doors on either side and it creates a face, and then you open it up and then the puppet moves inside. Then that giant one on the walls is a political puppet. You can see all the faces inside of it that create. And then here they have Waylon Flowers and Madam. There's Madam from 1974. It's a pretty famous puppeteer from Dawson, Georgia. Waylon Flowers. Then look here, they have a Mae West puppet on the left and a Carol Channing. These are life size. How cool is that? Looks like them too. Jimmy Rowland puppets. They even did their gowns and everything all detailed. And look over here, I think we all recognize him. Gumby. That's a 1962 Gumby. Made his debut on Howdy Doody, 1956, and he received his own series. He was kind of the Andy Griffith of the Howdy Doody show. He was soon joined by his friends Pokey, other shows, and a feature film followed. And there's the Glob from the Gumby show. And stop motion Santa from A Very Special Christmas. And here we have the Victor Van Dort and Corpse Bride stop motion figures, puppets. And then check this out. I think you recognize these two. The wisecracking jokesters from Mystery Science Theater, Tom Servo and Crow T. Robot. That was a classic show. Classic. These are from 2018. It says that they were operated by remote controls. Then here you have the Punch and Judy show. Puppets for the Everyman. Those are pretty popular. Always have puppets fighting. Kind of kid show type stuff. Then there's the Devil. And there's Judy. And the policeman from the show. And look at the alligator. There's the doctor. I love that they have so many different styles of puppets just to show you how many different ways you can do puppetry. And since I've already shown all the Henson stuff before, I might show a little bit in this, but I wanted to show you more of the other stuff here that they have to offer. You see over here, they actually have a place where you can operate puppets. See down there that I'm making his arm move? And I'll show you from the other side what it looks like. And then this big lion head, it says this was a puppet used, this was Scar. Mufasa and Scar mask made for the prototype for the Lion King stage show. And it said, animals exhibit made possible with a generous gift from Judy Garland. Huh. So that was a prototype for the Broadway mask. And here's the Mufasa mask. We saw the Scar mask. This is the Mufasa prototype mask with a chest harness down here at the bottom. And this is Muiroi puppets that make it look like they're dancing on water. Pretty big exhibit too. Oh, look at that Minotaur puppet. Pretty big. I'd say that's about 3.5 feet tall. Made like an action figure with posable joints and everything. Alright, let's go see a few of the Henson things, see if they added anything. One thing you have to see or check out when you're here, and I have to show you, is the Jim Henson Office. They moved his entire office in here with his Emmy Awards, family photos, his desk. Paper mache moose head lantern. Yeah, that's a must-see. And then here they have a recreation of his workshop where he would create and build the puppets. Dog puppet. And here you go, here you get Bert and Ernie. That's so cool. Some original Sesame Street. Here the original 1969 Roosevelt Franklin, Grover, the original Elmo,
I'm Mr. Puppet, and what I'm Mr.
And look how awesome that is. Big Bird and Oscar. Oscar the Grouch living in his trash can. And Carol Spinney's Big Bird costume. Carol Spinney was Big Bird until Carol Spinney could no longer physically be Big Bird anymore. For nearly 50 years he performed Big Bird, Oscar the Grouch, and other characters. He became so adept at working Big Bird, he could even wear roller skates while gliding along the street. And then here they have part of the TV studio. Show how they would have filmed it. So you can see over here how they have the camera set up and the couch, and then they would have been behind, crouched down, working it like that. Even the door they would have come through. There you can see Jim Henson working Kermit. Here's their little rolling dolly. And here we get to see Kermit, Director Kermit. There were a lot of Kermits. Scooter over there and Mana, Miss Kitty. And then from the Muppet Show, the Pigs in Space. There's a lot more to see, but I'll show you Fraggle Rock and make you come see Dark Crystal and Labyrinth and all that stuff yourself, because this museum is definitely worth coming to see. But sometimes you gotta get away to Fraggle Rock. Red. So cover your eyes. Don't look at all that stuff from the labyrinth. Don't look at it. Come here and check it out for yourself. And look at that Kermit themed stained glass up there, and playing the banjo, and his little head popping out of the water over there. This is such a cool place. You gotta check it out. Last time I was here, they were pretty much out of all the cool puppets, but they have a count, so I might get the count today. Who doesn't like talking broccoli? They said they've sold most of the Rudolph stuff this year already, so not much of that I can buy, but check out what they do have. They restocked most of their hand puppets, so Fozzie is back in stock, Elmo, Cookie Monster. Well, mission accomplished. We got to see them. All right, my friends, we're gonna call it a day. I want to thank Linda Palladino and Casey Keene for becoming my newest Patreons or making a new contribution to my channel. Thank you all for watching, and enjoy Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Goodbye.